What's going on, friends? It's Anton Daniels, and I gotta have a conversation with you guys about Tiege Hanley because you see how the sun is hitting me. This is no finesse, no makeup, no filters, no none of that. This is 100% Tiege Hanley. I use it in the morning as soon as I get up, right after I pray and brush my teeth, jump in the shower, and I'm hitting the streets because you never get a second chance to make a first impression. So even though they're giving you 40% off your first order, 20% off for life, even though you may get a free gift, forget all that, right? Because we would do this even if it was full price because it's worth that much. I'm in the streets, I'm kicking it with people when I see Dusties everywhere. You don't want to be them. You want to separate yourself. And the way that you separate yourself is self-care. Ladies get it for the fellas. Fellas don't wait for the ladies to get it for you. I'm about to hit the streets right now and I'm feeling confident. I'm feeling great. I mean, I already got confidence, but to have that extra boost of confidence, knowing that you've taken care of yourself and you set yourself apart from all of the rest of the sheep that's walking around making bad decisions on a daily basis. And it's reflected in their actions. It's reflected in the products that they use. It's reflected in the people that they follow. And so if you're trying to level up, if you're trying to make sure that you look good, they're going to send you the pack. They're going to give you all of the instructions on how you're supposed to use it. Then make sure you get your Tiege Hanley. Again, 40% off your first order, 20% off for life. Get your free gift. Make sure you tap in with your boy Anton Daniels because Unc is never going to lead you wrong. I would never have you use a product that I don't use myself. Again, they've been rocking with me for a long time. Make sure you get your Tiege Hanley. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm going to holler at you guys later. What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. Thank you for tuning in for another edition of the Millionaire Morning Show. I am your host, Anton Daniels. What up, what up, what up, what up, what up? I appreciate y'all. Hold me down, taking care of me, making sure that everything is good in my life. And I'm going to make sure everything is good in your life. If you have not subscribed to the Patreon, the link is in the description. Just a couple days ago, again, I did a live stream in which I re-uploaded it for you guys to be able to check out. So that is available for you on the Patreon. And we got a exclusive video that's coming this weekend. And I'm looking forward to dropping that for you guys. So what's up to all of my friends and family in the chat? I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for continuing to hold me down. It is Friday, March 7th, 2025. And I am struggling. I am genuinely struggling. First, we had a great show last night. Let me say that. We had a great show last night. Last night was awesome. I was appreciative that everybody continues to hold us down. It is incredibly entertaining. I will say that a lot of people, y'all like little kids. I don't know what that is. It's like when you give people freedom a lot of times to say what they want to say, and I almost regret sometimes saying, hey, listen, we don't censor anybody or anything like that, because then people take the gloves off and they say some of the craziest stuff. And thank God that we have thick skin. You know what I'm saying? Thank God that we got thick skin because, boy, I'm telling you, y'all, I don't even know how to describe it. It's like a level of ruthlessness that I have to condition people for when they come on a platform, because it's like no tact, no none of that. I don't know. I might have to update some stuff. But the reason that I'm struggling is because of the black tax. The black tax. No matter how much we talk about it, we know that it's real. And for my people that's not black, right? I don't even like to say black, but just for the sake of conversation, I'm going to say black because it's easier for people to know what I'm talking about. But for the people that are African American inside of the United States of America, we have a black tax. A lot of us that was not raised in an environment where you were able to have sustained wealth or success or any of that type of stuff. We have a black tax, and the black tax is largely once you make it out the hood or once you become successful, then you are tapped into from everybody and anybody. I mean, I never knew that I had so many cousins and new nephews and nieces and all of this stuff. And the more visible you become, the more successful you are, you ultimately get tapped into. And you're the first person to call when somebody is going through something, and they're going to hit you with that speech. You know the speech. I got hit with that speech this morning. Hey, you know, I hate to be that guy. You know, I hate to be the guy that only call you when I need something, but man, I'm going through it right now. I'm going through it right now. Oh yeah, what you need? I need about $3,500. And now people are smartening up, right? People are smartening up, and this is what they're doing. I was talking to my daughter this morning, and we texting back and forth, and she's like, "Dad, such and such is about to call you." I'm like, what do you mean such and such is about to call me? Why are you telling me that such and such is about to call me? Oh, they just told me that they, look out for their call, to tell you to look out for their call and such and such. I said, Les, why are they hitting you up and prefacing the call to make sure that I answer the phone? And I don't know if all of these people watch the show or anything like that, because I did say the other day, yo, I'm not answering the phone no more. Maybe that's it. They playing chess. I'm playing checkers, right? I said, Les, I'm not answering the phone. I'm busy. I'm doing stuff. I'm taking care of business. Dad, come on, Dad. Okay, baby. I'm gonna answer the phone. As soon as I pick up the phone, hey, I hate to be that guy, but I need you. I need you. Oh yeah, what you need me for? It's a lot going on. Long story short, they want $3,500. I text my daughter back. I said, see, I told you. She was like, she hit me with the crying emoji. She's like, Dad, I'm sorry. I said, it's not your fault. You just love people. You haven't realized yet what people are really about and what's going to happen once they figure out that you got money. And that's one of the reasons. That's truly one of the reasons why people project to be just normal everyday people, or to be regular everyday people, and they don't want people to know that they have anything, because it's difficult to turn down, especially for me personally. It's difficult to walk away from or turn down when somebody actually needs something. So, once they hit me with the request and then they tell their sob story, I'm like, and then somebody must have skimmed my card or stole my card yesterday, and they hit me with $2,100 in charges on my card or whatever, which is not a big deal. You know what I'm saying? Report it to the credit card company. They're going to investigate, figure out if they can give me my money back or not. And if they don't, then I'm just going to have to take precautions and steps to make sure I protect my card numbers and stuff like that even more. But the point is that the black tax is real, and I'm struggling. I'm struggling with it. I'm struggling because I have difficulty a lot of times saying no, and I feel like people take advantage of me. And I told my daughter, she said, Dad, why you don't be wanting to answer the phone sometimes? I said, because if I can't get a text message on my birthday, then why should I answer your phone call when you need something? And of course, because I have girls in my life, they are always a soft spot. They are always my weakness. And they are the ones, like my daughter, Dad, come on, Dad, don't be like that. We have to look out for people. We got to make sure that everybody is taken care of, all of this stuff. And, when I'm in a business environment and it's just me, I can look at everything from a business perspective. When I have the girls pulling on me, it's difficult. A lot of times it's difficult for me to say no. It's all, that's my heart. That's my heart. But I told her, I said, Les, if you can't text me for my birthday, which I don't look for any text messages because I got y'all. I got my bag chasers. I got my people. I got the people that really love me, and y'all tune in every day. Most of y'all, I'm going to be honest with y'all, and then we can get started with the show. Most of you guys know me better than most of the people that actually is a part of my bloodline. Y'all know my life. You know my day-to-day activities. Y'all tune in. Y'all hold me down. I never ask for super chats like I just got. I never ask for cash apps. But you guys hold me down, and hopefully I give you the same value, the same entertainment. And, I like to acknowledge everybody that can hold me down. But you guys, I'm going to be honest with you. And that's kind of the story for a lot of us. I know some of you guys better than your own family know y'all. Regardless, and this is one of the reasons why I like after hours. I like Millionaire Morning Show. I like to live stream, and I like to interact with the chat, because
even when you guys disagree with me, even when we go back and forth, even when you got to get timed out because you cross the line and you get overly disrespectful, I know you. I know you. I know your spirit. I know what you're gonna say before you type it. I could look at somebody's profile picture and already tell that they're gonna be dusty in they chat and what they're gonna say. I could look at somebody's profile picture, and you know what? I know they're gonna hold me down. Y'all, honestly, that's why Jesus said that your family is not your bloodline. Your family is the people that is going in the direction that you're going in. This is the honest to God truth. When his mother was knocking at the door and he was with his disciples, he told his disciples who were not a part of his bloodline, y'all are my family because y'all are the ones that's going through it with me. We experience life together. Y'all see me when I'm frustrated. You see me when I'm happy. And those are the people. Just because, you know what I'm saying, you the son of my brother or something like that. And don't get me wrong, I got love for him. I got love for everybody. But I got more love for the people that I know and I talk to every single day. If one of my people, for example, if one of the people on After Hours hit me up and say, yo, Tom, $3,500, I ain't even going to ask them. You got it. Hey, Anton, man, I'm going through it. Can you hook me? You got it. I wouldn't even question them because we talk all day, every day. We interact with each other. We in a group chat. We meet up with each other. We have conversations. We real life friends. I know what's going on with them medically. They know what's going on with me emotionally. I know what's happening with this person as far as where they traveling to. We send text messages back and forth to each other. Hey, man, I'm about to fly out this way. Pray for me. Pray that my flight is safe. Hey, man, I got this procedure that we got to go through. Hey, Anton, what do you think about this? We lean into each other. We hold each other accountable. We laugh. We play. We talk. That is the people that's my family. As crazy as it sounds, if they ask me for something, they don't even have to ask. They just got to mention it. You got it. If I ask them for something, hey, y'all, I need y'all to hold me down on this or do this, they wouldn't even think twice about it. They defend me on a regular basis when people even say stuff that they don't know what man, you don't know what you're talking about. You don't know nothing about Anton. That's my family. Those are my people. You guys are my family. So again, man, I am struggling personally, and I know this is something that a lot of us go through. I struggle with the black tax. Even today, even at my big old age of 42 years old, I struggle, and I want to be transparent about the things that I experience and I go through, and this is why I'm telling you guys. So just be mindful, man. Let's work through it together. Let's figure it out. I can't wait to do the After Hours tonight. And let's get it popping. Shout out to Sabrina. Shout out to Yakar. Shout out to Eric D. Shout out to everybody that's in the chat. Pravin, Azriel. I see everybody. Artifacts. I love y'all. I love y'all. They don't mind. Honestly, they don't mind. Hey, let me get $3,500. $3,500. $3,500. Ain't you working? Yeah, I'm working. I had this one. I'm gonna be the dead horse. Anyways, let me read some of these super chats and cash apps. And wait a minute, I got one person that have not paid rent yet. It'll be there this afternoon. Okay, all right. I like that. At least they communicating effectively. Shout out to Mike, that dude. I appreciate you, big dog. Thank you for holding me down. And Spencer Campbell says, good morning. Good morning to you, Spencer Campbell. I love you. CEO First says, good morning, AD. After Hours last night was so funny when y'all were talking, speaking in code, and Q was low-key in love. it is. You know, people pick their favorite villain and their favorite person for the night every single night, and it'd be a different person. I was the villain last night. People didn't like me, and they love Carrie. So Mick the Most says, top of the morning king about last night, sir. Sheesh, fire After Hours. I think After Hours is the best late night show on the face of the planet, and a lot of people just ain't discovered it yet. Lit Studio says, hey, Anton, I want to say thank you for your Interview Like a King video. I'm proud to say I'll be starting a new job next month in a new state. Shout out to the Patreon members. I actually got an updated Interview Like a King video that's coming out probably within the next two or 3 days. So I'm working on it. I'm working on an updated version of it. But congratulations, man. I love that. Shout out to my new bag chasers and shout out to the Patreon members. I'm glad that y'all getting value out of what we putting out there. That last video we did, y'all got to go check it out. Pookie's friend Ray Ray says, I pay my monthly black tax to my ghetto sister. It's like mob dues, ain't it? Honestly, I allocate a certain amount of money every single month, and I be thinking to myself, all right, this is the begging pot. I got a begging pot. Y'all don't believe me. Y'all don't believe me. I got to make sure y'all don't see my whole budget because that's for the Patreon members. That's for the Patreon members. So I got my whole budget, for example. See this? That's a whole budget. I don't want to show y'all what it is, but it's a whole budget up here, right? And at the end of it, hold on. Let me scroll up a little bit so y'all can't see it. It's crazy. I have a begging pot. This is the begging pot. And then if you go back down, you can see the rest of the budget. That's for the begging pot. I know that I'm going to be hit up every single month. I know that people are going to hit me up. Oh, Anton. And I'm getting rid of the black tax. You know how much money I can save? I could save myself almost what, $55,000, $60,000 a year if I eliminate the begging pot. I can eliminate $55,000, $60,000 a year if I eliminate the begging pot. P. Shank says, "Good morning, Mr. Anton Daniels and the Millionaire Morning Show." Good morning to you, P. Shank. Thank you for teaching me many of the things that my father should have. I love you too, Devon. I love you, bro. Love you, bro. You are a mentor and a blessing. Salute to the bag chasers. I love you, fam. Angel, don't mind me. I'm just talking. Says, AD, I feel you. My wife and I dealing with the black tax as we speak. And if it wasn't so close to her heart, I wouldn't even think about it. It's the women, man. The women get to us. Those should audit the black tax agency. I just wanted to say, bless the platform for the value add. Good morning, AD. God bless you, says Vaughn. There's always one. Oh, we got more than one in my family. Hey, V Nicole. V Nicole, I'm starting to fall in love. Hey, handsome friend, just showing love. You know, I watch every day. Yeah, I'm buttoning my shirt. Yeah, button my shirt real quick. You know, I've been working out. V Nicole. Shout out to the nurses. They love AD. Promise says Boundaries by Henry Cloud is a good read, AD. All right, Promise, send it to me. My address is down there. Y'all send me that book. Blessing to the platform for the value add, says J Dubs. Thank you. The begging is so real, says CEO First. LaFleur says, I would never ask anyone for anything. Hell, I never asked my parents for anything in my life. It's just not in me to ask, let alone beg. Tyrone says, AD, when I realized the same people that had their hands out when I was a kid are still begging for me, it made me say, no, real easy. They'll bleed you dry if you let them stay up, bro. They think because you made it, they're entitled. True Ben says, happy Friday and bless you, your family, and everyone back chasing bags right away for the right reasons. Jeremiah 29:11, big bro, much love. Thank you, Dwayne or Dewan. I appreciate you. Mick the Most in the building says, Carrie, get AD. No, tell Carrie to leave me alone. Nahum says that high call Dodge to help you. Man, it's crazy out here. It is crazy, but I'm going to figure it out. Life be lifing, and I am a normal, everyday person too. Life be lifing, y'all. Y'all said show some chest hair. No, I'm a dolphin. I gotta stay groomed. All right, y'all ready to go ahead and get started with the show? Thank you, African. Thank you, Manette. I'm gonna be reading that super chat shortly. Let's get started. Lord, bless us to be strong. Bless us to have discernment. That's what I'm praying for today. Happiness and discernment. And the reason that I want discernment is because I want to be careful that I'm not making a bad decision when I do donate to somebody, or when I do take care of somebody, or when I do, withdraw from my begging fund. My begging fund is like an HSA, y'all. But bless us with discernment to know those that are taking advantage of us and those that really need help. Because Lord knows that I'm blessed, and I am very, very thankful for being blessed. And I want to make sure that I'm blessing the right people when they really need it, not being taken advantage of for the sake of somebody enriching themselves temporarily just so they can come back and ask for more. We love you. We appreciate you. We ask for everything in Jesus' name. All right, y'all. I'm going to be reading super chats shortly. Oh, yeah. I know I was right, Trey D. I'm going to get there. We're going to get there. And we got after hours tonight. So make sure y'all tap in. Hopefully Mika's voice is a little bit better, and then we can rock out. All right, y'all. Let's go. Should I button my shirt back up? No, I'm going to leave it unbuttoned. That's for Vine. All right, y'all, let's go ahead and get into the show. So the first thing that I want to talk about is Lil Ronnie. All right. If you are familiar with this platform, we talked about Lil Ronnie the other day. And Lil Ronnie, they call him G Money Lil Ronnie. Apparently, he was at a car wash over in Dallas, Texas. And one of the things that happened to him was he was killed, and his 5-year-old daughter was with him. Well, we got a little bit more information. Not only was the killers identified and arrested, but they then also released some footage, and I found the best footage that I can get that wouldn't, show too much bad stuff and stuff like that. But they actually released some footage that showed what happened during the time that he was being attacked, chased, ultimately killed, and then his 5-year-old daughter killed also. It was a heart-wrenching story because we were all bothered by it. And we were broken up about the idea that how could somebody ever do this to a 5-year-old? You know what I'm saying? So let me go ahead and share with y'all the footage, and then I'm going to show y'all who the killers are. Y'all know what's really happening.
This security camera video leaked from Slappy's car wash in Forest Hill shows Ronnie Sibley trying to get away from his attackers. Video shows them firing guns with his 5-year-old daughter, Armani Sibley, in the car. She and the popular 30-year-old Fort Worth rap artist known as G Money Lil Ronnie did not survive gunfire Monday morning. It's the type of gun violence.
That's how I started Mothers of Murdered Angels.
Melinda Hamilton knows personally. She lost her 25-year-old daughter in 2017 and 19-year-old grandson in 2020. Today, she's one of the community leaders speaking out against the shootings that killed a Crowley ISD kindergartner, leaving a mother without her child.
We're here also to give them resources to help them in the need as they need right now.
This moment needs to be taken as a gun violence. We're going to stop it now, and we're going to put our foot down now, and this is it, because we can't keep doing this.
There's no justification for this violence. We call for an immediate cessation of the senseless killings that plague our streets.
Another father has taken another child, buried.
Minister Dominique Alexander is also outraged about the father-daughter killing. As president of the Next Generation Action Network, Alexander sent this message to the suspects.
It's simple. Turn yourself in. Don't draw this out.
As Forest Hill police look for 2 known suspects caught on camera during the shooting, a spokesperson for the family shared this.
And on behalf of a mother, I would ask that they would do the right thing and that they would come forward, because at the end of the day, there's a mother somewhere, man, that's demanding justice.
So if y'all actually look at the police footage.
This security camera video leaked from Slappy's car wash in Forest Hill showed
2 suspects, which we'll get to them shortly, is over in the left-hand upper corner of your screen. Also over there is his Dodge Challenger, okay? You got a Dodge Challenger. He's hightailing it across the parking lot. Obviously, he got hit and he wound up passing away. Here's the key. His daughter is still in the car. His daughter is still in the car. Dog, this becomes more and more heart-wrenching more than ever before. Listen, man, you can take me, but I'm going to shield my daughter. The first thing that I'm doing is I'm shielding my daughter. I don't know what the heck is going on in society. He left the daughter. Listen. We're going to get to the killers shortly. He's hightailing it across. I cannot let this be the final moments of my life personally. When we spoke on the conversation about Umar Johnson yesterday, and I'm not going to include him in this the whole story about his daughter saying, hey, I'm listening. I want my father. I'm reaching out to my father. I looked at that little girl and said, that's really a cry for help. But when we spoke on that yesterday, and I said, you know what? That's my daughter. I created this being in this earth. I don't give a piss what the mother does or whatever happens. The mother just gonna have to fail at some point, and she gonna have to break, because I'm never, ever, under any circumstance, ever abandoning my kid, my daughter, my son. I'm never going to do it. It's nothing that anybody can do or say. I don't care how many of y'all say that, oh man, Anton, you need to hear the woman's side. I don't care what you say. This is one thing in particular that you will never, ever get me to change my mind or see it a different way or concede on. My child is my child. Is your child second? Mothers. For me personally, that's mine. It's your second. You might have had it, but that's my kid. Is my kid, and I will fight you till I die. I will fight you to the end of the world. I will spend all the money that I have, and I will go hungry before I ever let anyone or anybody take my child away from me or leave my child unprotected. I don't care what you say. I don't care who she is. I don't care what the mother is. I'm coming for my kid. So it's very difficult for me to hear people or to even look at this video and this footage and then say, man, that dude hightailed it across the parking lot. Man, I could not. What if he survived? What if he lived and the daughter died? The last moments of your life, you hightailing it across a parking lot. And that doesn't absolve the people that are shooting, because we're going to get to them shortly. Your last moments of breath, you hightailing it across the parking lot while your 5-year-old daughter is probably strapped in a car seat, getting towed out the frame by bullets that is going into her body. That, for me, is unbearable. It is unbearable. I would never, ever, I could not live with myself to even think or know that I hightailed it across the parking lot, and then they got video footage of it. That, to me, is insane. We don't know how she died. We don't know if she choked on her own blood. We don't know if she bled out to death. You don't know nothing. You don't know nothing. Your daughter is sitting in a Challenger with the door still open, and the killers is feet away from it while you hightailing it across the parking lot. I could not. Rygar, cool. We can have a disagreement. You can say that I'm wrong. I don't care what you say. I don't care what you say. At some point, there has to be one or two issues in your life. One or two issues in your life where you say, you know what? This thing I'm standing on, and I'm never going to move. This, for me, the kids, the daughters, the sons, that's that one thing. I could lose money. I can get some more money back. I could lose people or women that say, Anton, I don't like you, you evil, whatever, cool. I can replace you with another woman. It's always another woman coming down the street. That's cool. I cannot in any way, shape, or form live with the idea that I left my daughter alone to die. I can't do it. I can't do it, fam. I can't do it. I can't. It breaks my heart. It breaks my heart to see it from other people. So it absolutely would break my heart for myself. I will do anything for my daughter. Everybody else, I'm going to think about it. I got it. You know what? They keep on posing that question. If it was two people, who would you? No way. No way. You get me? Cool. I'm just covering the baby. I got to cover the baby. When I hear y'all talk sometimes, y'all weird to me. Y'all weird to me. Y'all weird to me. Real talk. And y'all not going to change me to being something different that I know that I'm right on. I'm not the type, I don't believe in insane people that's insane running the insane asylum. You need direction. You need correction. You need growth. You need healing. You need somebody to sit there and stand on business and tell you the truth. I don't care if the whole world against me. You're wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong 10 times out of 10. Dietrich, you're wrong too. He said, you wrong, big dog. Okay, well, you hightail it across the parking lot with your daughter still sitting in the car. I'm wrong. I'm wrong. Before I ever bought something for myself, I had to make sure that my family is taken care of. I never spent no money on myself before I spent it on my family and made sure that they were straight first. That they were straight first. Straight up. This is the honest to God truth. Rita will tell you.
Hello.
Hey, I got a question for you. I'm on a live stream.
What's going on?
When we got married and I decided that I wanted to tackle student loans, I had student loans, you had student loans. What did I do first?
Paid mine first.
I did what?
Paid mine first.
Were you even working?
No.
And then I tackled mine.
Right.
Thank you.
Bye.
I always made sure everybody else was taken care of before I took care of myself. I always made sure that my family was straight before I took care of myself. You keep asking me on a regular basis, and I'm going to switch over, right? I'm going to switch over and I'm going to address the killers. But you keep asking me, Anton, how did you find unicorns? How did you get this woman to be this way or whatever, so on and so forth? She don't have no choice. What do you mean? I am a de facto father for her and her mother on a regular basis. Her mother calls me and texts me, Anton, oh my God, I have to do whatever it is. I will lay down my life for you. My wife's mother will lay down her life for me because she's so thankful of the role that I play in her and her daughter's life. How are y'all going to sit here and justify to me that this man is running full speed across the parking lot and his 5-year-old daughter is getting shot up in the car? His 5-year-old daughter is getting shot up in the car. Zach says, what does Zach say? Zach says student loans versus a bullet is crazy. No, it's not. Because the word of God says, be faithful in little and then you'll be ruler over much. If you can't even be trusted to take care of this small thing over here, I expect for you to tell me that I'm wrong about this dude running away from his daughter, getting shot up in the car. What are we even talking about? How are y'all even debating this? You're telling me that you're not willing to lay down your life for your daughter? You would run? You in any way can look at this video and run. You would run because it's two killers with guns that are shooting at you and your daughter. You would run away from your daughter and leave her in a car? A 5-year-old defenseless kid? I don't need no friends like y'all. If you wouldn't save your own daughter, what makes you think that even a little bit that you will be loyal to anything and anybody outside of yourself? He diverted attention. Man, get the heck out of here. He was diverting attention away from his daughter. Man, shut up, bro. Shut up, bro. Shut up. Don't ever say nothing to me ever again. I don't trust none of y'all. I don't trust none of y'all at all whatsoever. Y'all crazy. Y'all are outside of y'all mind. Y'all straight up crazy. Real talk. Is nothing that you ever gonna do or be able to say that could ever justify this nonsense. Y'all smoking. What is y'all smoking? What are you on? Like, seriously, I would be afraid, I would be ashamed to even say some stuff like that out loud. Real talk. I would be ashamed to even say some stuff like that out loud. Let's continue, man.
We begin with that breaking news. There is an arrest in the shooting deaths of a local rapper and his 5-year-old daughter at a car wash in Forest Hill. Tonight, police say they have one of the accused killers, but they are still looking for another suspect. Allie Spilliards is in the newsroom with more on this major development. Allie?
Brian, Forest Hills police chief tells us that the Texas Rangers arrested 24-year-old Adonis Robinson in Livingston today. That's about an hour north of Houston. He faces capital murder charges in the deaths of the dad and daughter. So does a 21-year-old who's still on the run.
Police say it's been a coordinated effort tracking down the men who they say shot and killed a father and his daughter at this Forest Hill car wash Monday morning. Family says the victims were local rapper Ronnie Smith and 5-year-old Armani.
And now we've identified the two cowards who took the lives of these innocent people.
Just one day after Forest Hill Police Chief David Hernandez held a press conference, naming 24-year-old Adonis Robinson and 21-year-old Jacoby Russell as the...
I want y'all to see who the people are, who the suspects are. Why I tell my young guys a lot of times, hey fam, cut your hair, bro. You'll be more presentable. Get you some brush waves, get you a taper. You'll be able to get a job. No, y'all, hey man, I shouldn't have to change who I am. Usual suspects, faces tatted, necks tatted, hair nappy, white t-shirt, guns galore, shooting everything with the black lips. Black lips, faces tatted, necks tatted, white tees, hair nappy. Anton, oh man, I can't believe you saying it. Don't say it to me. They the killers. I have on a shirt with my initials on it. They the ones that got on the killer uniforms. They got the young killer, the YN starter kit on. YN starter kit all day long. Not even a debate about it. Stop saying that everything is a stereotype. Nope, it comes from truth. It comes from truth. Artifacts, I'm profiling everything and everybody. Oh, you can't automatically assume that this person, yes, I can. Yes, I can. That is the very, God gave us profiling skills and discernment so that we can save our lives. That is how we've survived. You can't, that's like saying, oh man, during the hunter-gatherer phase, you can't assume just because that's a tiger over there that it's gonna maul you. The nature of a tiger is as soon as you turn your back to pounce on you and maul your face and grab you by your neck and bleed your throat so that they can eat you, bone by bone, arm by arm, leg by leg. The nature of a tiger is to attack and eat you for survival. And the nature of me is to profile that. Is that a tiger? Is that a tiger? You know what? We don't go and hang out with tigers. We don't surround ourselves with tigers. And the minute that you put on your YN starter kit, I have to leave. I got to let you go. Nope, I'm not coming back to the hood. I'm not trying to fix you. I'm not trying to do none of that because they look at you as food. Everybody that I see around me, anytime that I go out in public, anytime I go out to a public space, people walk up to me, what's up, fam? I love your work. I show them love, and then I keep my head on a swivel. I show love, and then I keep my head on a swivel. I don't know what's going on. I remember that I had walked up to the cage because I had made a sports bet. And so I walked up to the cage, and it was a really big sports bet. And it was an older white lady that was sitting at the cage. And she said, make sure you put this in your pouch, baby. She said, what door is you going out of? I said, oh, I'm going out of, she said, don't worry about it. It don't even matter. I'm going to call security so that they can walk you out. I said, I don't need no security. I'm good. I'm going to the valet. She said, it don't matter if you're going to valet by the hotel or you're going to the parking deck. I'm going to call security. And this is the honest to God truth. She said, because there's too many eyes around here watching you. I don't know if this woman was some kind of angel I don't know if this woman was just warning me, if God was speaking through her, but I took her warning and I took her security. She said, it's too many eyes that's over here watching you. She said, I'm not letting you walk away from this cage without having the police and the security walk you out to your car. She said, you might not think that they're watching, but everybody is watching. Everybody is watching everybody to see where it is that they can find a weakness in them so that they can come up. Profiling saves lives. Profiling saves lives. Do not ignore the signs. Don't ignore the instincts. Don't even listen. Don't care if you offend people. This is especially for the ladies. Don't care if you offend people. And the reason that I don't want you to care if you offend somebody, and I don't care what these guys say to you online. Sometimes they're right, sometimes they're wrong. But preservation of life is number one. And if you feel as though it's necessary, if they gonna get offended and call you a bitch and call you as you walking out the door because you don't want to turn around and entertain it, if something is telling you keep walking, don't entertain it, and just because they call you a B, okay, cool. You can talk about it on TikTok later, but we want to make sure that you save your life. Don't you become a victim. You better trust your judgment, follow your instincts, and don't turn around. Don't even entertain it. I was in Miami the other day and we stopped up in a pastry shop and we was coming out and there was some YNs and they was inside of a rented Benz. I could tell the difference between the rented ones and the ones that's owned. And they was in a rented Benz and one of them was rolling trees in the front seat and the other one was sitting out of the back seat with the door open. And there was some baddies, two little bad chicks that walked past. And he was like, hey, what's up? What's going on? What's going on? And they didn't turn around. They just kept walking. Nobody even want y'all anyway, you stupid hoes. They just kept walking. They just kept walking. And I was sitting there eating my ice cream. I was just observing, acting like I didn't see nothing. And I was thinking to myself, good for them. Good for them. Smart girls. Keep going. Keep walking. And they wasn't dressed provocatively. They wasn't dressed crazy. They was just some really nice looking girls and they was in pairs. That's another thing. Always stay in pairs. Always stay in pairs. I'm telling you, listen, I'm going to give you the game to save your life. Always stay in pairs. You're less likely to have a problem as far as it escalating beyond whatever it is if you are in pairs. Girls, y'all better stop going out by yourselves. Stay in pairs. Somebody said you made them sound like some Cali dudes. I don't know where they was from. They was visitors, obviously. They was visitors to wherever we was at. Stay in pairs. Stop doing everything by yourself. Stay in pairs. Okay? All right. Usual suspects, one of them is arrested, and they both was born in 2000 and 2023. That means that one of them was what? About to turn 25, and the other one was 22. About 24 and 22. One of them was about to turn 25, 24 and 22. Madness in the streets today. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel and turn on your notifications. Let me button my shirt back up. I don't want to be looking like a YN out here. African greatness. I appreciate you. Thank you for holding me down. Thank you for participating. AD, your consistency needs to be studied. Love. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate you. You know I don't miss. Manette says facts. Family is the one you create, not the one you were born into. Talk to them. Learn that the hard way. Appreciate you, AD. I appreciate you too. Big Sneed in the building says the black tax isn't just helping out your begging family. I get it sometimes when my black identity is revealed doing business. Trey D says you were 1,000,000,000% correct on your analogy about Umar last night. On point as always. Appreciate you. B Huey is in the building. Thank you, B Huey. Kid Camellia says y'all too soft. Tariffs on everybody. Manette says please excuse my typo from the previous message. No, you perfect. You fine. TM says he was running to draw fire away from her. Banks Hayes says he was on live beefing with his daughter in the car. He wasn't running to protect his daughter. Skinny Boy says, last hour's a shame, no honor. Shame. Diverting shots away from the car, maybe. Me University says, no, Anton is leaning righteous on y'all. Live for something or live for something or die for nothing. Jerry says, the way some of y'all are talking is very telling. Shout out to Jerry. Coach Hayward Bay says, once you have children in your life, in a way, doesn't matter. It's always wife and children first. Courtney Egger says, without question, my daughters are under my covering. I'm laying down my life for them. No question. Wouldn't even think about it. Not even something for us to think about. The separation of man and mice is sad. Zach says, assuming saves lives. Facts. That boy Nietzsche says, rest in peace to the daughter. I don't care about the other three. Jail and hell is made for street dudes. Skinny Boy says, men don't understand sacrifices. That's why we will always be behind. Fixton's Crypto says his daughter got killed because of his actions in the streets, and he ran away from his karma and his responsibility, which was his daughter. I've been suspected as a man. I got to eat that. Me University. EJ Rogers says, AD, how do you feel about Bron Stephen A. Smith situation? What is Bron Stephen A. Smith situation? I don't know what the situation is. What is their situation? Tell me what their situation is and I can speak on it. Make sure y'all, I'm just broken, man. I'm brokenhearted by the nonsense that we see. I am. It is very much bothersome what we see inside of the community and why people continue to validate this nonsense. I don't understand it. I'm genuinely trying to figure out how y'all make sense of this and how y'all justify some of the stuff that's happening out here in these streets, man. It's crazy. I'm genuinely trying to figure it out. I just don't understand it. All right. Anyways, let's go ahead and continue on with the show. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let's spin the block real quick, and let's head over to what's happening out in the streets. Now, you guys know yesterday that I was breaking down how embarrassing the Democrats are, but the Democrats are blaming each other after the disruptions that happened during Trump's speech over to Congress. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. This is what they got to say.
Oh, there we go. Let's listen in.
To answering present. The resolution is adopted. Without objection, a motion to reconsider is laid on the table. The House will come to order. The House will come to order. Shh. Will Representative Green present himself to the well? By its adoption of House Resolution 189, the House has resolved that Representative Al Green be censured, that Representative Al Green forthwith present himself in the well of the House of Representatives for the pronouncement of censure, and that Representative Al Green be censured with public reading of this resolution by the Speaker. The House will come to order. The House will come to order. What's it? The House to come to order. Clear the well, please. Clear the well. The House has to continue its business.
Do y'all know how embarrassing this is? Do you know how embarrassing it is that Maxine Waters and Al Green is out there with their big heads singing, "We shall overcome"? Do you know how stupid you have to be? And this is why we need term limits within our Congress. This is the dumbest thing that I've ever seen in my entire life. I just can't. I can't. And again, shout out to the loyalists, the 92% and the 78%. Shout out to the 92% and the 78% that is holding it down and keeping everybody on the Democratic plantation. I did not even know that this existed. Obviously, you guys are my source. And so when you sent this into the email and then Rita read it and then she sent it to me, she said, Anton, did you know that they were singing Negro spirituals on the House floor? That the very ones that is responsible for the budget and the purse strings of the United States of America for how they spend our money, they was over there heckling and singing Negro spirituals after Trump's speech. Look at the white apologists that was forced to be in there singing Negro spirituals with them. Look at the white apologists. Hey, white people, are y'all ashamed of yourselves yet? White liberals, are you ashamed of yourself for singing Negro spirituals with Al Green and Maxine Waters? I know y'all ancestors is rolling over in your grave right now. You singing Negro spirituals that they used to sing when they was oppressed. Jeez. Look at y'all.
Pursuant to Clause 12A of Rule 1, the House will stand in recess, subject to the call of the chair.
Got it. Okay, guys, here we go now. So
look at him.
Yeah, that passes.
Look at the TV.
Guys, here we go now.
Look at the TV anchor. Oh, look at the TV anchor. He had to get a close up of the screen. He said, wait a minute, what is going on here? I did the same thing, big dog.
So
is Aisha still with us?
Yeah, that passes. Aisha, you're still with us. I was looking at Jabal Bowman about 2 years ago. He was the last member of Congress who was censured. And he was the one who pulled the fire alarm. Go ahead.
I just want to jump in really quickly because what was supposed to happen, so what's happening right now is we're trying to get order in the chamber because what you're supposed to see next is Speaker Johnson admonish Congressman Green, and that hasn't happened yet. And what Democrats are doing right now is they're disrupting the chamber floor, and they're singing and they're surrounding him in the well, which they're not supposed to do. So I believe Speaker Johnson is trying to get a hold of this. Let's listen in now because I think this is happening now where he's admonishing him. No, it looks like the House is in recess now. So we're going to try to figure out what just happened there, if they can, if they're going to come back and try to do this. But the censure resolution did pass. They were able to censure him. And yes, you were talking about Jabal Bowman. This is now the fourth Democrat in probably the last 2 years here. I'm going to see if Congressman Scalise, what just happened in there? Were you able to admonish? Were you able to admonish him? Okay, so that was Steve Scalise, and he said that they have censured him, and so it looks like that is it, and they might be done for the day. But fourth Democrat now in the last 2 years to be censured by House Republicans.
So Aisha, you are by the rules required to stand in the well of the House and be issued your condemnation.
Right.
Did that happen, or did we miss it?
I didn't see that happen. I didn't hear that happen. I just started hearing the Democrats singing and sort of like creating a disruption around Congressman Green. So we'll try to find out from one of our producers who was in the chamber. But an interesting note, Bill, here is that at least 9 Democrats voted along with Republicans here to censure Congressman Green. And there were a few others that voted present as well. So that's an interesting takeaway, too. Obviously, there were plenty of some Democrats that felt that what he did just wasn't right.
No.
Aisha, so there's a lot of reporting with Democrats not going on the record, but talking to reporters like you saying they were mortified about what happened on Tuesday. They felt they had no direction from their leadership, which would be Hakeem Jeffries. They're frustrated. They're embarrassed. They're worried. And at some point, do you think any of them will be willing to go on the record? Because to me, I don't see how they get out of the wilderness until they have somebody willing to say enough.
Well, I would imagine the Democratic leadership was not too happy with what happened Tuesday night. I mean, they were hoping that there wouldn't be any outbursts. I mean, they were advising people, obviously, attend if you want. We'd like everybody to be there. We'd like to show unity in the Democratic conference. We won't force you to come and attend. Several people, obviously, we saw leave in the middle of the president's speech, but I don't believe leadership wanted to see this kind of an outburst, because here's the thing, what happens is that nobody talks about their messaging anymore. Everybody just starts talking about Congressman Green.
And that's exactly what happened. And the people that had actually left, that was planned also, and that came courtesy of Jasmine Crockett and her cohorts. Somebody sent me a video of Jasmine Crockett earlier in her career and how she's now evolved in her language and her accent and all of these things, right? And she was a young, homely woman. She looked like she came straight from the church. She looked like she wasn't doing that great of a job in her legal practice, which could be one of the reasons why she wound up becoming or running for and winning over in liberal Texas and Dallas while she wound up winning a Congress seat, along with the fact that she's a part of the Divine Nine, so that probably played a role too. But she was homely. She had big hair. She was trying to meet expectations, trying to talk proper and all of this. Now she curse every other word. She not like us. She doing memes. They not actually doing anything except for being content creators and all of this stuff. And so she was one of the ones that staged the protests in which they walked out during Trump's speech. And so they just disruptive. And what they don't understand is that all they're doing is making themselves look more foolish. Nobody is taking them seriously. Nobody is actually going to vote for them. They are going to probably lose more seats in these upcoming special elections. And now they just become content creators. I wonder if they get paid from YouTube, because a lot of them all repost the stuff that they do that's stupid. They repost it over to their YouTube videos. Bernie Sanders, Jasmine Crockett. I wonder if they get paid from YouTube. But these people are absolutely a disgrace. They are a disgrace to the democratic process. They are a disgrace to Congress. We've never seen something like this happen before in our lives. But this is who they are. This is how they're presenting themselves. And this is what we got to deal with as people in the United States of America, and why we are being embarrassed on a national stage. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let me read a couple of super chats, and then we're going to move over to the next part of the show. Daniela says, people are making me sick with he was running away to protect his daughter. No, the F, he was not. He was saving himself. I agree. EJ Rogers says, last night he ran up on him about Bronny. Did he? Oh, I'm going to have to make that a part of after hours tonight. Bubbles313 says, this is why they told you to pull up your pants, tuck in your shirt, pull that dress down. Just because you're from the hood, don't be hood. Hood doesn't love you back at all. The Mask says he ran away and still died. He could have saved his daughter's life, but now they're both gone. Dewan Nelson says, good morning, AD. I know you say no self-inflicted wounds. Should I go into 40K of school debt to learn computer science? Thank you for all of the knowledge that you've taught me and I appreciate you much. No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. You do not have to go into $40,000 of school debt to learn computer science. Okay, first of all, let me answer your question a little bit more direct and give you a little bit of guidance. Number one, computer science is just a general degree. You need to specialize. You need to pick a degree field where you can specialize. And when I say specialize, you need to go into cybersecurity. You need to go into AI machine learning. You need to go into cloud infrastructure, something like that, okay? You really, really need to specialize. That's number one. You're welcome, Dewan Nelson. I see you inside of the chat. The second thing is, do not go to a major university your first 2 years. Your first 2 years, I'm going to tell you what I did. Go to community college, limit the amount of money that you have to pay per credit hour. Most of the first 2 years that you go to college is going to be general education stuff and stuff that you have to meet an expectation for before you go and pick a curriculum and specialize in the first place. So go to community college first. You will pay significantly less in credit hours, and do not take out student loans, just pay for it. Two things happen when you pay for it. Number one, you don't go into debt in student loans. Number two, you appreciate it more because you're putting your own money up. and you have a vested interest in being successful. Then once you complete those 2 years, I would transfer over to a major university. And also what I did, which a lot of people gave me slack for, but it actually worked. Also what I did was, instead of going into a regular everyday job that then required me to be there and really be into it all every single time, I actually went and worked for the University of Michigan, which paid for almost all paid for my major university experience. Okay. So me working for the University of Michigan, and it don't even have to be like a university or something like that. Go and then find a job or look at the job that you have and look to get tuition assistance or reimbursement. They will often pay for you to go to school, or look to get a job in the field that you expect to work for. You can intern, you can do any of that type of stuff. And what'll happen is it'll allow for you to really be able to level up, get your degree, while at the same time minimizing the amount of money that you got to pay for it. Community college, first 2 years, transfer over to a major university, when you get your degree, guess what it's going to say? A major university. It's not going to say half and half. It's not lemonade. It's not an Arnold Palmer half and half. It's going to say the major university that you go to. When people make excuses and they say, oh no, college is a scam, or I got all of this student loan debt, that's because they weren't intentional. Go to school, be diligent, make sure you structure your schooling around your schedule. You don't have to necessarily even go full time. You can take some classes now, and then while you're working full time, pay for your experience, minimize the amount of money that you got to pay for school in the final 2 years when you get your degree, and go into a STEM field with a specialization based off of what you think that they are going to need in the future. That is how you make a lot of money. That is how you minimize all of the mistakes, and that's how you not have to ask somebody for forgiveness and then vote Democrat because you think that they're going to do something for you. All right. So shout out to you, but absolutely positively do not go into computer science. Specialize and don't go into $40,000 in school debt. Joshua Washington says, appreciate your content, Anton. You keep it 1,000 on your panel. That chick Jazz you go up against need to stop trying to debate you because she's doing too much. GR's Infantry says Andrew Tate is wild too, AD. The Andrew Tate is wild too, AD. I don't know what you mean by the Andrew Tate. What do you mean by the Andrew Tate is wild too? I don't know what that means. Philip Sadiq says, coming up next, swing low, sweet chariot. They were embarrassing. My mom has been complaining about the taxes on Social Security for years, but still hates Trump. Who wants to remove those taxes? TDS is real. Some people you're never going to be able to bring along. Woosah AD, best show on the internet, big homie, though. I appreciate you. Charles Halbert says, you should really have on the guy running against Jasmine in Texas, please. I could send you the information. He has a story. Sure. Send it to me. I want to see it. Dolores says, Mr. Anton, good morning. Thank you for telling the truth. Be blessed. I love you. I love you more. Jason says, Democrats are the Trojan horse. Democrats is powerless right now, bro. I ain't even gonna cap. Democrats are powerless. They can't even do nothing. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. But why didn't they stand? Well, there were several reporters that walked through and asked them. They asked them, why didn't you stand for different parts of Trump's speech? Why didn't you stand for DJ Daniel? Why didn't you stand for Laken Riley? Why didn't you stand for the thing that we know is best for America? And you don't have to agree with everything that Trump said, but you absolutely should respect the office of the president and at least acknowledge DJ Daniel. Well, there was plenty of people that they asked, and this is what they had to say.
Senator, how's it going? Johnny from Fox. What could Donald Trump do that'll make you clap?
Thank you very much.
What could Donald Trump do that'll make you clap?
I did clap when he said that the United States had supported Ukraine and given them lots of
Well, why not for Laken Riley's mom? How was that speech last night? Did you love it?
Well, I watched it. I don't think that was the best look for our party last night.
Very disappointing.
So you didn't stand up for anything?
The president got before the American people, didn't talk about how he could drive down grocery prices.
Senator, why weren't you standing yesterday for anything?
Very important hearing right now on anti-Semitism.
But you didn't stand for anything at the speech last night.
I don't know what you're talking about, where you got that information.
Well, there was nothing the president had to say.
Laken Riley's mom, you didn't stand for her.
Factual or truthful or anything like that.
We applauded.
You don't think it's worthy to stand up for her like everyone else?
We should applaud.
I need you to move.
Congressman, why didn't you stand for the speech?
Have a good day. I need to go to a meeting.
80% of the American people, according to CBS, loved the speech.
Again, I don't think with the United States.
Are the Democrats out of
The United
touch?
States of America. Forgive me for voting here. Forgive me for being out of breath. I don't know what speech.
These people are despicable. They're despicable. You know what they wind up doing? You know what the meeting that they wind up going to? They wind up doing a bunch of pre-recorded TikToks. I kid you not. I cannot lie. I actually did a review video on it yesterday of the pre-recorded TikToks that they were doing. And those same hookups, those same uniforms, they did pre-recorded TikToks. Real talk. I can't kid you. I would never lie to you. They did a bunch of pre-recorded TikToks, and it was embarrassing. I did a video about it. They changed their hookups, they changed their outfits, and they did a bunch of pre-recorded TikToks. You don't believe me?
That's what you just said.
Since day one of Donald Trump's presidency.
See Elizabeth Warren, you see Cory Booker, you see all of them, all of the Democrats that were a part of Congress did a bunch of pre-recorded TikToks, and they changed their houkups, and then that's the one that they wound up doing.
Prices are up, not down. Inflation is getting worse, not better. Prices of groceries, gas, housing, and eggs.
Don't y'all feel like we living in a simulation? Do y'all not feel like we living in a simulation, or do y'all think that everything is normal? They didn't stand because they don't respect America. They don't respect Lake and Riley. And they don't think about this. They made a big old thing. I remember Nancy Pelosi. Nancy Pelosi, kid you not, when George Floyd was murdered, Nancy Pelosi was over at the African American Museum kneeling. Nancy Pelosi was at the African American Museum kneeling for George Floyd. I kid you not. She was over there wearing African garb, and she was kneeling for George Floyd. I just literally pulled it up right now.
George Floyd.
Oh my God. I do not forget anything. They had the kente cloth on, and they were kneeling for George Floyd. They were walking around with the kente cloth on. Dog. Look at all of those white people. Is this not one of the most embarrassing things that I had ever seen in my entire life? Kid you not. They was walking around kneeling for a kente cloth, and they could not stand for Laken Riley, who was murdered by an illegal migrant. They could not stand for DJ Daniel, who had multiple different brain cancers and was honored by the Trump administration as far as becoming an honorary DEA agent. They were literally kneeling with kente cloths on. Look how disrespectful and foolish these people are. But they will sit there and they will pretend like they just so great and that they taking care of business and that they're on top of things. These ain't nothing but plants, man. They plants to keep y'all poor so that they can make excuses on how they can continue to run up a bag behind the scenes and steal everything that they've ever had.
They were watching.
They were watching the president's speech, Senator.
Really? Wasn't worth watching.
Why was Al Green so disrespectful?
You got to ask Al Green.
So I just pulled up to Congressman Al Green's office, went inside, see if he wanted to talk, because he did a lot of talking at the joint address, but they shooed me away. They said, we're not talking to Johnny. Well,
hey, hold on. Look at this, y'all. If you look at the top of the screen,
talking at the joint address,
it says Islamophobia. We're against Islamophobia and anti-Semitism above Representative Al Green of Texas. Texas, what y'all got going on over there? What y'all got inside of y'all phone? What y'all got inside of y'all food? Is it something that's inside of Texas's food? Y'all got Jasmine Crockett and Al Green. I didn't even realize that Al Green was a representative of Texas.
But they shooed me away. They said, we're not talking to Johnny. What was wrong with those Democrats? They couldn't stand last night.
Well, I think people got to see the difference between conservative Republicans and liberal Democrats. Liberal Democrats are miserable people.
I bet their butts were sore sitting that long.
Why do you want men and women's sports?
Therefore, I
Senator,
need to go. Aloha.
Why do you want men and women's sports, Senator?
Thank you.
Congressman, how are you?
Hey, man, we got to get these people out of office. Honest to God. Seriously. What the heck is going on? How is these people even getting elected? What the heck is going on right here? Is this Stephen Hawkins? No, this is not Stephen Hawkins. What? Oh, this is Stephen Cohen. What are we doing? Who is running the United States of America, y'all? Who is running the United States of America? Somebody said, don't make fun of the disabled. You a lie. Who said who? When did we not have diversity, equity, and inclusion in everything? Jeremy H. I believe that we should. Oh, so I can call Greg Abbott Governor Wheelchair or Professor X, but I can't call him Stephen Hawkins. Get the heck out of here, bro. Stephen Cohen is Memphis-based. Memphis is destroyed right now. I don't spare anybody when it comes to holding people accountable. Who do we have in office that can actually be a representative of the American people? Stephen Cohen and these people are not it. These people are not it. Why are y'all enabling this bad behavior? And what makes you think that just because they're in a wheelchair that they can't be held accountable? Look at this. And look how fast he's going. Look how fast he was driving.
Thank you.
Congressman, how are you?
Okay, thank you.
Congressman, why should men be in women's sports?
Shorts?
Sports. Why do you think
they should not be in shorts?
Senator, why are we paying for Sesame? Should men be in women's sports?
Shorts?
Sports. Why do you think
they should not be in shorts? Shorts?
Sports. Why do you think
they should not be in shorts?
Senator, why are we paying for Sesame Street in Iraq?
I do not know that is true, so I'm not going to say yes or no.
You don't trust the Doge finding?
I don't really have an opinion on that. And I work in a business. I think it requires, we don't have to have an opinion on everything.
Do you have an opinion on Jesse Waters?
Oh yeah, I wish I had his hair. You know, yeah. My dad's a big fan.
You need to get away from me.
Congresswoman, did you like the speech last night?
Yo, we got to get these people out of office. Honest to God, we genuinely got to get these people out of office. It's like one big running joke. If y'all want to sit here and say that America is a laughingstock of the world, then we got to hold our congressmen members accountable. I think this is despicable. And these are the people. We got grown old white men and immigrant people of representing Minnesota, sassy people down there in Texas, and ghetto people down there in Dallas, and Jasmine Crockett representing us in Congress. And these are the people that determine where our tax dollars are going to go. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let me read these super chats and let's move over. Next, we got JD Vance. So the Republicans was actually doing real work for the American people, and they was headed over to the border. JD Vance, Tulsi Gabbard, and so on and so forth, and we'll get to that shortly. Sean Huff, 76 says, 80, thanks for everything that you do. You're doing God's work. My fellow Detroit brethren. Shout out to my people over in Detroit. What up, though? Double Jeopardy says, showing hands, how many think the astronauts hit hit it in space already for being stuck up there for almost a year. I 100% think that they did. Michaela Lowe says, let Dems keep it up. We'll stay in power. Miss Deanne, yeah, I agree with that. Miss Deanne says, 80, are you hiring? Good to see you. Love the shirt. I have to do an in-person interview. You know what I'm saying? Jean Lee says, I'm gonna have to figure out what positions I'm gonna be hiring for within the next 6 months. Anton, have you talked to your mother about DJ? If so, what was her opinion of the Dems' reaction? I haven't talked to her about it. We've been handling like some real life family business. Anton, what up though? Bag chasers in the building, says Bunch Man said, what up though? Lydell Freeman says, can't believe I used to be a Democrat. I lost friends, but I found the bag chaser. Shout out to you. Much better group to be in. Since Trump been in office, the 10-year treasury is going down from 4.6% to 4.2%. High Tolerance says, good morning, 80 in the bag chasers. Pelosi up there looking like Kalinga's wife. And I'm going to get you sucker minus the beret, beads, and medallions. Little Light, Seventh Day Adventist says, did you have a chance to look at the biblical documentary I sent you via email yet? I know you're busy, but I do believe once you do, you will have a revelation in spirit and truth. I have not yet, but I do have it planned on my itinerary for one of these weekends. No, that's not Stephen Hawking. That's Professor X liberal brother. Meant to say the Andrew Tate situation is wild. I don't really know what happened. I know that the Florida governor said that he didn't stand with him or something like that based off of the accusations that he was being made. And I know that he also appeared on Candace Owens' podcast. Arnie Gordon says, I hope people are paying attention to who represents us, make that change in the midterms. And Quentin Spivey in the building. Shout out to Quentin Spivey. I appreciate you, big dog. Thank you to everybody that contributes to the platform. You are appreciated. But let's pivot. Let's see what the grown-ups was really doing out here in these streets. So while the Democrats was over there making a scene and getting paid for it, the Republicans was over in Texas and Eagle Pass because they didn't think that just because they won the election that it was okay for them not to take advantage of and address what was happening at our borders. They was over at the borders, still to this day, making sure that they address our troops, making sure that Border Patrol know that they got their back, and also making sure that our borders stay safe. They are there. We had to beg Kamala Harris, we had to beg Biden to go over to the border, but we don't have to do that with our Vice President, J.D. Vance and Tulsi Gabbard. Pete Hegseth, they all at the border and they taking care of business.
All right. Well, good afternoon, everybody, and I appreciate.
Hey, it's so funny. We never heard from Kamala Harris until she was running for president. We say J.D. Vance literally everywhere. He's an extension of the president.
Being here.
And I see you, Tulsi. I see you, Tulsi. I see you, Tulsi. Man, the ladies, bro, I can't even lie to you. I can't lie to y'all. I can't even lie to you. The ladies, they are something else. You know what I'm talking about. Desiree, I can't help I'm sorry, Desiree. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I can't help myself. I love these. It's nothing like a woman that is well put together. Whew. Oh, I don't know. The Democrats let that one get away. Shout out to Tulsi. And those jeans.
It's great to be here. It's great to talk to some of the incredible people that we have, both at the local level, the Texas state level, and also, of course, our federal border patrol, who are doing so many good things to keep us safe. And I have some bad news and some good news. And the bad news is that because of what Joe Biden did at the southern border for 4 years, we had record increases in migrant crime, in fentanyl deaths, and in just floods and floods of people who shouldn't be in our country who came into the United States of America. We also have a number of ways in which the cartels became more.
What is elephant hips, Quentin? What is elephant hip? You know what? I got a question for after hours to start the show off. I think it's going to be a wild night. I don't even know what elephant hips are. Good God.
More advanced better war fighters because Joe Biden opened up the American southern border and allowed the cartels to turn it into their playground. Now, that's the bad news. The good news is, as President Trump said last night at the State of the Union, it turns out we didn't need new laws. We didn't need fancy legislation. We just needed a new president of the United States. And thank God that's exactly what we have. And I will say that the most heartening message that I take away from my visit here at the Texas border is the number of Border Patrol agents who have come up to me and said, thank you, or said, because of this, we've cut the number of border crossings from 1,500 a day to 30 a day. Or the people who have come up and said, we've seen a reduction, an 85% of the number of people who are dying at the American southern border. And every single day that we continue to keep this border safe, that means less migrant crime, that means less fentanyl coming into our communities, that means more safety and security for the people of the United States of America. And of course, we know the border problem, the border crisis under Biden's administration was a national crisis, but it acutely affected the communities right here. And I've already heard heartbreaking stories of people who are still picking up the pieces, local mayors who are still dealing with the budgetary consequences of what the Joe Biden administration allowed to happen at the American southern border. And that, too, is something that President Trump is going to help address, help fix, and help solve. Now, I wanted to bring Secretary Hegseth and Director Gabbard at DNI down here because, one, I obviously enjoy their company, and it's good to have them down here with me looking around today. But unfortunately, we know that because of what's happened, the border crisis has become a matter of national intelligence.
Hold on. Stop this. Hold on. Wait a minute. Eric D. I got to bring Eric D. to the front of the congregation. Eric D. says, y'all just fawning over her because she's on the red team. Jasmine Crocker looks better than Tulsi all day. Now listen, you know I like my black queens. I'm not even gonna front. But I don't know what you are smoking. I don't know. You need to get them Jasmine shades off. You know how they say I got Molly shades? Bruh. What are you smoking, Eric? Eric, what are you smoking? Are you on crack? And this is the honest to God truth. I genuinely want to know, is something wrong? You need to pray. You need to go and ask God for better judgment, bro. You got to ask God for better judgment. Ain't no way that them butterfly eyelashes is in any way, shape, or form touching Tulsi Gabbard. That's just my own personal opinion. I know that beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Do your thing, Eric. If that's what you're going for, then we know that everybody got somebody. Everybody got somebody that's for them. But ain't no way in the world, ain't no way on God's green earth you going to try to convince me that Tulsi Gabbard runs a distant second to Jasmine Crockett. Stop it, bro. Stop it. Let's get back to the border, man. I don't know what you want.
And it's also become something that requires the Department of Defense to engage with. I was talking with Paul Perez earlier. The drone technology that the cartels are using requires, unfortunately, a military response and military support. So it was important for Secretary Hegseth to see what's going on, because we know that the millions and millions of people who were let in over the last 4 years, many of them are connected to foreign terrorists. It's important for our leader of national intelligence to get a sense of what's here on the ground. So before we take questions from the press, and all of us are willing to take questions, I want to give Secretary Hegseth and then Director Gabbard an opportunity to say a few words themselves. Mr. Secretary.
Well, Mr. Vice President, thank you very much for inviting us. It's great to be here with you, with the director, with our fellow friends in civilian clothes and in other shades of green. This is a demonstration of a true partnership on the southern border. As President Trump has made clear on the campaign trail and from day one and last night, border security is national security. And from the Defense Department, we've watched for a couple of decades other people's borders being secured while ours was open for an invasion of drugs and of violence and of chaos for American communities. That stops under President Trump. And the Defense Department has assets that we can bring to bear, not just troops, not just surveillance, not just equipment, but actual planning and capabilities that enhance what Border Patrol is already doing, which is
one thing I never understood about borders and American troops, just the military in general, is I know that we have the strongest military in the world, and our investment in the military, we're not talking about all of the resources that's being wasted, but our investment in the military is one of the reasons why we're so strong and why we're able to have the level of freedoms that we have inside of the United States of America. However, even though I know that we have special interests in other countries, I never understood why we don't manage and leverage our military for us here inside of the United States of America. So, for example, we spend all of this money, we spend these resources, we pay our military an egregious amount of money. The military is one of the largest budget items in our spending in the United States of America. I never understood why we didn't leverage our military to make sure that we get control of these cities. When you have outbreaks, when you have our borders out of control, why wouldn't we use our military, our resources, the defenses and the capabilities to patrol our borders and to make sure that we enforce the laws that's already on the books? And maybe I'm just off, but I don't understand it. Why don't we use our military for things that's on America or for America or in America's best interest or in American soil? Why is the military only used for international situations in most instances? I don't understand it. How come our military don't serve us? We pay for it as taxpayers. How come we don't use them for our borders? How come we don't use that on American soil? How come we don't use it to prevent people from dying from fentanyl coming into the United States of America? I'm trying to understand it, y'all. And maybe y'all can help me, because, you know, it's some things that I may not be as well versed on. If you ask me anything about real estate, I could break it down for you. Ask me anything about banking, I could absolutely break it down for you. If you ask me something about politics, I'm pretty well versed in it. Everything as far as the military, I may not be familiar with or I may not fully understand, but why don't we deploy more of our military resources, assets, technology, planning, and having them work with our borders, our waters, all of that type of stuff? And obviously, I'm not the only person that don't understand it. So why don't we? Military cannot police within the country, but they can't police the border. Okay, so why can't they police the border again? That's within our country, right? That way we would stop cartels and people from coming over here illegally more. Why wouldn't we deploy them for our border? It's not about policing. It's about using the resources and the assets strategically, right? No? So why do we spend all of this money for the military if it doesn't benefit us?
Why it's been incredible to hear from our partners about what we've been able to allow them to do, facilitate them, and we've seen it in the numbers. 98% drop in crossings on the southern border. We're not yet at 100% operational control, but we are on our way because that is the mandate that the president has given us. So more resources are coming to this border. We are dedicated to securing it. That's the reason for our trip and our partnership. And I want to thank all the men and women who've been doing it recently in uniform, who have been doing it a long time right here, have dedicated their lives to securing the American people. And at the Defense Department, we are committed to continuing to being a big part of it. So, Mr. Vice President, thanks for having us.
Absolutely, man. Thank you. Great. Now, Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard. Tulsi.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President, for your leadership in bringing the country's attention to what has been happening.
You're telling me that Jasmine Crockett looks better than Tulsi Gabbard with a regular Tulsi Gabbard with an American flag hat on and a flannel, in my personal opinion, is 10 times better than a dressed up Jasmine Crockett. It ain't even close. And it ain't even close. Not even a little bit. Not even close.
The border and the significant change that has already occurred under the short time that President Trump has been in office. Really what you're seeing here today and what you'll continue to see is a unified effort across President Trump's national security team, the Department of Homeland Security, towards our mission, which is to ensure a safe, free, and prosperous society for Americans. As Director of National Intelligence, there are a number of areas where we are focused. The president talked about in his speech, over 21 million people have come across our borders illegally under Joe Biden's administration. There are many of them that we don't know who they are. They have not been vetted. We don't know where they are. I'll give you one quick example of one of the problems that we are getting after. From Central Asia, there were over 4,000 people who came across our borders using an ISIS-affiliated network. Our National Counterterrorism Center went through and identified those individuals. There were hundreds of them who were either known terrorists or associated with known terrorists. That information was provided to the Biden administration. You may remember in some of the news, a little over 100 of those people were arrested in 2024. Of those who were arrested, only 8 were either deported or remained in custody. Only 8. The rest of them were released back into our country. Where are they? What are they doing? What may they be plotting? This is just the beginning. There are many, many areas that we need to stay very focused on, working with Department of Homeland Security, working with the FBI to ensure that we're keeping the American people safe.
How did the Democrats let Tulsi Gabbard, who could have probably been one of the biggest stars of the Democratic Party, to break out? That's what I'm trying to understand, honestly. We know that Trump, under the Trump administration, they're deploying countless resources to make sure that our borders are safe, that all of the people are doing their job, that people are being held accountable, and they pivoting and they changing, they evolving as they do stuff. But why? How did y'all let her get away? Of all the people that were stars in the Democrat Party, y'all honestly let Tulsi Gabbard get away. Y'all honestly let Tulsi Gabbard get away. Interesting. Some people are saying Jasmine Crockett is all this. All right, let me just put in Jasmine Crockett. Really? Just picked on the first random picture that I seen, and I just selected Jasmine Crockett. I mean, she's just regular, but then she throwing a bunch of other stuff. So cool. Okay, so that's Jasmine Crockett. I'm gonna put Tulsi Gabbard. No, I'll take Tulsi Gabbard all day long. 100%. I'm taking Tulsi Gabbard, the beach babe, now military asset. I'm taking Tulsi Gabbard all day long. 100%. 100%. Is this her husband? Is that her husband? Abraham Williams? Yeah, I'm going to take Tulsi. I'm going to take Tulsi. I'm going to take Tulsi. I'm good. Anyways, make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel. And I'm not taking Tulsi just because I think that she's more naturally a better looking person. I'm taking her because of her mentality, her mindset, her ability to think better, to communicate more effectively. I think that she's smarter, and I think that she's a greater asset for the United States of America. That's why I'm taking Tulsi. Let me read some of these super chats and see what y'all talking about. Duran Lee says, that's my director of national intelligence. Cuddy says, question, is what Jasmine Crockett look like me with no weave, makeup, or eyelashes? Hashtag weave witch. Province says, some good news as Defense America now have a strategic Bitcoin reserve, other countries to follow. Shout out to Pravin for letting us know. High Tolerance says, our resident lollipop head, Eric D. Eric D is tripping, rock on with Diana Foss. Any woman that requires an hour to find their morning face is rough work. Black Batman's kryptonite, says the man. Marie says Eric must be single if he not gonna stay single because of a woman. Like Crockett is the man in a relationship. Stop tracing Mr. Moms. This is why black men choosing crazies, lust. Use your ears, not your eyes. We didn't need new laws. We needed a new president. Talk about it, Michaela. The Run says Posse Comitus Act AD. I have to check that out. My baby mama Rogue says Manual AG. What's up, Anton from DC? You changed my mindset. Shout out to Devon Ford. Red Cup says they wanted Ratchet Crockett. Talk to my girl, Mika. What's up, Mika? You ready to come back to Detroit, baby? It's about to warm up outside. This new studio is done. I got you. We're going to figure that out. GR's Infantry says the role of the government is to protect our borders, freedom, and property. That's it. Everything else is services. They are public servants for the people. Anton, look up the Posse Comitus Act of 1878. All right, let's see what it is. Let's see what we can find out about this act so that I can better understand it. It says a federal law that limits the use of the military and domestic law enforcement. The law was passed in response to excessive use of the military during Reconstruction. It says signed it into law 1878, introduced the bill in the House on 1878. House passed the bill, Senate passed the bill. The law was intended to prevent the military from being used to enforce federal law without the authorization from Congress. The law was intended to prevent military was being used to enforce. The law was intended to prevent the use of federal troops against Americans. Okay, so exceptions to the law. The law does allow exceptions, such as when the president determines that the use of military is necessary in the event of a serious emergency. Congress has also allowed the use of the military in some cases, such as domestic violence and protection of federal property. But again, it was intended to prevent the military from being used to enforce federal law without the authorization of Congress. And the law was intended to prevent the use of federal troops against Americans. Correct. But at the border, it wouldn't be against Americans. It would be to prevent people from coming over here illegally that's not American, right? No? That's the reason why we would deploy the troops to the border, to make sure that people that were not American don't come in here illegally. That's the whole point that I'm saying. Why don't we deploy the military to the border? Why hasn't that been used? Why is that not a resource? We're not asking them to go into American cities to police the cities. That's why we have local police departments, the sheriffs, and the county, right? But why wouldn't we use it to prevent people from coming inside of the United States of America illegally is what I'm saying. I'm just reading y'all chats to see what y'all saying. The president does not have to declare an invasion. Every country uses their military for the border. As far as I know, as far as I thought. Let me read the rest of these super chats and then we can move over to the next part of the show. AD, you got me unfocused looking at that sexy country girl Tulsi. I need to get back to work. Appreciate what you do. Shout out to the Let's Talk Game, the Lyric Gamer, Lyric the Gamer. A7 Key says, good morning, AD. Did you hear about stepping down of the city girl mayor, Danya Sartor of Jonesboro, Georgia, from gun threats? I did not hear about that. Mr. Febreze MD says, Tulsi got that Cocker Spaniel neck. We pull her hair. Stop. The Riddler says, good afternoon, Anton. I'm 39 and I really want to start over in regards to my career. Is it too late that I'm too old to venture into cybersecurity? No, you're only 39. You're only 39 years old. You're not even halfway done with your life. No, get into cybersecurity. You can definitely go into it. I'm thinking about going back to school again. Not for any reason specifically that I need to do anything career-wise, but I just want to put some more stuff on my resume, some stuff that I'm thinking about that I think that I want to actually take some classes for. Marie says, this is how R. Kelly led y'all blind mice with music. Crockett is the Pied Piper of politics, mouth moving and ain't saying nothing ebonics. Mr. Robinson says, I'll let you know when she's ready to come back to Detroit, big dog. Oh my gosh. The Posse Comitatus Act. Comitatus Act. Posse Comitatus Act. Is that how I'm saying it, Angel? Hopefully I'm saying it right. I think I was saying it wrong previously. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Jeremy H says technically only the Coast Guard can do that because they aren't under that act. Too few though. All right, make sure you hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. So y'all been telling me about this for a long time, and so now, actually, I don't know if I want to go to that first. We'll go to that last. Let me pivot for a second. So tariffs. Trump is placing a pause on most tariffs. That is what's being told to me, and I want to include that as a part of the conversation. And I think that that's necessary for us to talk about because I want to keep y'all up to date on what's going on with the tariffs. All right. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and let's get it.
On tariffs. You spoke to the president of Mexico today. I want to talk about tariffs because even as you're seeing this optimism and excitement, there's some nervousness over your tariffs. Markets have been selling off. People are not sure how to view it. Why did you roll back or put a pause into some of the tariffs until April 2nd?
Because I wanted to help Mexico and Canada to a certain extent. We're a big country, and they do a lot of their business with us, whereas in our case, it's much less significant. We do very little with Canada by comparison. And
hey, what is this?
Most people are too lazy to do that.
No. Oh, we got the wrong account. Let's go over to the one with premium.
Or President Trump putting a month-long pause on some tariffs on goods from Mexico and Canada. Nervousness over your tariffs.
We wanted to help. It's much less significant. We do very little with Canada by comparison. And I wanted to help the American car makers until April 2nd. April 2nd, it becomes all reciprocal. What they charge us, we charge them. It's a big deal. But what they charge us, we charge them. But this is short term, and I felt that for the good of the American car makers and the MCA, you know, the USMCA, it's Mexico, Canada. I thought it would be a fair thing to do. And so I gave them a little bit of a break for this short period of time.
But I asked you about this before, and I know you told me when I asked you, I said, you did use MCA, you put this together.
Yeah.
And yet then you come back and you change it up with these tariffs. And you said to me at that time, I did it because I can.
Now, some people will ask me, well, Anton, what is the MCA? All right, the UMCA. I believe that's what it's called. The USMCA is actually what it's called. So it's the United States, Mexico, and Canada agreement. The USMCA is the United States, Mexico, and Canada agreement. It was replaced. It replaced the NAFTA agreement. NAFTA was drafted previously to the Trump administration. I believe it was drafted by Clinton in the 90s, if I'm not mistaken, but don't quote me on that. But the North American Free Trade Agreement, which was NAFTA, was renegotiated by Trump in his first term. And the new agreement was called the USMCA, the United States, Mexico, Canada agreement. And it was to make it more competitive and to make sure that there was more parity between the United States and Mexico, and that we had agreements from both countries that they would do business just, that we would get more benefits from the agreement, especially when you talk about the fact that when you look at car manufacturers, when you look at things that are manufactured inside the United States, Canada, and Mexico, initially what it was looked at as is as long as it was manufactured in North America, as long as it was manufactured here between these three countries, we could basically say that it was manufactured here in the Americas, in North America, right? But that then allowed for manufacturers and automakers specifically to be able to set up shop in Canada, which they didn't have that much of an advantage in Canada because we have more parity. And Canada has a lot of taxes, which a lot of people are suffering under. And Mexico, which now Trump had to become aware during the Biden administration that China was manufacturing parts, setting up facilities in Mexico, and then assembling it to go into the United States of America to escape the tariffs. So even when Trump renegotiated the North America Free Trade Agreement, which wound up coming USMCA, there were still countries that was being tariffed because we set up a tariff war on China because they were dumping cheap steel and dumping cheap products, and we didn't have parity between us and China. And they was also letting drugs flow into the United States of America. What happened was when Trump renegotiated that, what happened was China then started using Mexico and setting up shop in Mexico. They didn't set up shop inside of the United States of America. They were setting up shop in Mexico that then allowed for them to bypass the tariffs, and Biden did nothing about it. Biden did absolutely nothing about it. And so now Trump is dealing with them because one of the things that's happening, obviously, is that we had a fentanyl crisis. And Mexico was allowing for a lot of migrants. That was basically the hub for people all over the world: Guatemala, China, Venezuela, Haiti. There were a petri dish for people all over the world to stage themselves to eventually come into the United States of America illegally under the Biden administration. You got to pay for that. You got to pay for that. You 100% have to pay for that. And so not only did they take advantage of us these entire 4 years, they took advantage of us. They flooded our markets with drugs. A lot of Americans died. And now we have to spend a countless amount of resources, billions of dollars allocated into the budget to get people that's here illegally, especially the ones that committed additional crimes once they came over here inside of the United States of America. And so that's what he means when he was saying MCA or USMCA. All right, let's continue.
I put an amendment in there and I said in 6 years I can change it. But I think CEOs want to see predictability. They say, look, I have to speak with shareholders. I've got to make plans for CapEx spending. I can't if it's 20% one day and then it's off for a month and it's 25%.
Yeah.
So can you give us a sense of whether or not we are going to get clarity for the business community?
Well, I think so. But, the tariffs could go up as time goes by, and they may go up. And, I don't know if it's predictability. I think
so. That's not clarity.
No, I think that they say that. It sounds good to say. But for years, the globalists, the big globalists, have been ripping off the United States. They've been taking money away from the United States. And all we're doing is getting some of it back. And we're going to treat our country fairly. This country has been ripped off from every nation in the world, every company outside in the world. We've been ripped off at levels never seen before. And all we're going to do is get it back. We're going to get a lot of it back. We're not going to let people take advantage of us anymore.
And so you got to kind of have the history of what happened and why Trump is implementing tariffs in the first place. First of all, the main reason that we're having tariffs is not even to get back at the countries that took advantage of the United States of America. It's not. It's to stop the flow of drugs and migrants into the country. It's to make sure that we continue to raise revenue so that we can pay off the national debt. And the third reason, and this is the most important reason, is because Trump, without saying it, wants to take business from Canada and Mexico. Because believe it or not, and I know that y'all don't believe this, but believe it or not, we are in a global marketplace. Capitalism does not just exist inside of the United States of America as far as us competing against each other in the mom and pop spots against the big box stores. That's not what capitalism is. Capitalism is a national and international game, meaning that most automakers, most manufacturers, most phone makers, most chip makers, most everybody is trying to figure out, and they're having country against country, continent against continent, compete for their business. Because when you bring in jobs, when you bring in revenue, when you bring in all of that stuff, you bring in stability and you bring in richness to the country, which gives them a leg up on the competition, which is other countries, right? When manufacturers of phones and chips started moving from China over to India. They moved over there because China, with their growing economy, and when people say, well, China, they're the fastest growing country and they're the fastest growing place as far as bringing people out of poverty, that's because they were being subsidized by the United States of America, because we never stopped our buying. We only stopped our manufacturing. So manufacturers never passed that savings over to the United States of America. They just reaped in more profits. And so once China started growing in their economy and everybody was able to afford cars and they fixed their infrastructure, guess what? The cost of doing business in China went up, because the cost by which they had to pay different people and they had to pay their workers and bring people out of poverty went up, which then said to the manufacturers and to the companies that are doing business and selling products here in the United States of America and China, they then said, okay, well, we got multiple different mature marketplaces. Let's see what they got going on over in India. Because not only is it a tariff and a trade war and the cost of doing business is higher in China, we can't just go to Foxconn and manufacture our iPhones and the glasses and Samsung. Now we got to figure out where other places are that we can manufacture it with cheap, but we still have a growing and knowledgeable workforce that then could feed America and feed the world's desirabilities for the products that we're selling, especially now that we're able to leverage financing, because we can sell more products to people that'll pay longer, and the banks can get rich, which the United States of America then became a financing hub. That's why the banks are too big to fail, because we don't make anything inside of the United States of America that we can lean back on. So then when you've seen Apple, for example, going over to India and fostering relationships with the leadership over in India, it was to prevent themselves from being at the mercy of China, which they then used to make products inside of the United States of America. So we are in a global marketplace. And when you think about tariffs, you can't just think about the cost of living. You can't just think about immigrants coming over into the country. You can't just think about drugs that's flowing into the United States of America. You also have to think about the global marketplace, because what Trump really wants, and it's really the only way that he can do it, is to have a bi-level approach, a two-level approach. The first approach is to incentivize them to come here by saying that we'll give you tax subsidies and we'll reduce your burden of how much you have to pay in taxes if you create jobs inside of the United States of America. The second thing that they have to do is they have to make it difficult for them to do business outside of the United States of America if you want to sell to consumers here inside of the United States of America. Our true power is the fact that you guys, when you guys go over there and you say, well, black people have $1.7 trillion a year in spending power, well, we use that as leverage against other countries to say, why should you sell inside of the United States of America, but don't make your products here? Why should we only be a buying superpower when we're supposed to circulate the American dollar and continue to enrich ourselves? And we need to make sure that these companies understand who we are. So in order for them to do business, similar to how China had, you had to make sure that you build inside of China in order to sell to Chinese people. We're doing the same thing here in the United States of America. We can't just say that out loud. And that's why he's having conversations behind the scenes. So what he says is, listen, I'm going to put tariffs on these countries. Now, y'all think that we against Mexico. We not. You think that we against Canada. We not. We're competing for business. We're competing for jobs. We're competing for people to manufacture and invest inside of the United States of America. And so he's speaking to the business leaders. He's not just speaking to the countries. Yeah, he can hold them accountable for the immigrants coming in here, but that's not going to benefit your children and your children's children. That's not going to make America stronger fast enough. We need to make a long-term and a short-term investment inside of the United States of America. And he's forcing these automakers. He's forcing these manufacturers. He's forcing these phone makers. He's forcing these appliance industries to build inside of America. And they are smart enough to cut costs. They are smart enough to save in automation. We now have the technology. We now have artificial intelligence. We now have the manufacturing capacity. We have a lot of different places that we can then set up shop. We have the workforce. We have the education. We need to invest in our people, invest in our universities, invest in our cities, invest in our towns. And then we're going to kick out the migrants that then say, okay, listen, we have jobs for Americans first, and we want to bring in the best and the brightest outside of that. So what I'm telling you is that the goal is to bring American businesses into the United States of America and force their hand by making it so difficult for them to ship products or manufacture products over there and then bring them over here and sell them to us. We don't want made in Mexico. We don't want made in Canada. We don't want made in India. We don't want made in China. We want your products to be made here in the United States of America, where you pay taxes and employ people that then pay taxes into the system. That is what Trump is trying to do. Democrats are so dumb. People that are a part of the Democratic Party are so silly that they can't see the trees for the forest. They can't see the forest for the trees. They're so busy trying to go against him. What they don't even know is that they're shooting themselves in the foot by not embracing what Trump is saying. And that's what truly make America great again is. It's the fact that we used to be a manufacturing hub. We used to be a superpower when it came to the products that we manufactured and our ability to buy products and sell products here in the United States of America, to keep everything circular and singular within ourselves while at the same time forcing everybody to want to do business with us. We have drawn China out of poverty. We have drawn these other countries out of poverty. We are basically subsidizing the world. When he says that there's a trade deficit, it's not just the products that are bought and sold and trade across the borders. It's the products that are manufactured and then shipped into other countries. We don't do as much shipping to other countries as they ship to us to sell. Countries here in the United States of America set up shop out there to then import it back into the United States and then say designed in America, design. If you look at any product, if you look at any Apple product, it'll say designed by Apple. It won't say made in the United States of America. It says designed by Apple. It will not say made in the United States of America. Designed by Apple in California. Look at any product that you buy. Designed by Apple in California. Designed by Samsung in California. Assembled in the United States of America. But it's not manufactured. It's not made. It's not sourced. It's not anything. They don't use our steel. They don't use our aluminum. They don't use our coal. They don't use anything. They don't use our energy. They don't buy anything inside of the United States of America. We are too big to fail from a banking perspective because we have no other industries that we depend on. Their engineers is here, but their manufacturing is elsewhere elsewhere. That's what Trump is doing. Trump is a businessman. He's a businessman. We getting out of the business of war and we bringing manufacturing back into the United States of America. Come on, think, y'all. Think. Stop letting Democrats play music in your ears and distract you saying, they not like us. Jasmine Crockett, they not like us. They not like us. These people are dumb. These people are dumb as piss. They don't know nothing. They being controlled by the real business minds. It's people that have a mindset like me is the ones that's just controlling your Congress members and they saying, okay, put this message out there, but this is how we're going to do. Never let the left hand know what the right hand is doing. That's why they ain't never built nothing. They're not business people. Anyways, let me not get too deep into it. That's what make America great again. When you see people say, when was America ever great again? Say what I just told you. Tell them what I just told you. All right? It's not about white versus black. It's about this. This is what makes the world go round. It's not. Why do you think that war is so prevalent between Russia? You think war is about how they don't dislike each other? War is about territory. It's about money. It's about finance. It's about resources. You can get somebody to embrace you in war, you're going to make somebody else rich. Somebody going to get rich off of that. This ain't the Millionaire Morning Show just because we talk about politics. We talk about how money and politics intersect and how it comes back down to the money. And that's how they talk. That's what politics is. Politics is trying to figure out where the money is. That's all politics is. Politics is trying to figure out where the money is at. That's what politics is, okay? Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let me cook for y'all. I told y'all this is the best morning show ever. It's the best morning show on the face of the earth. Nobody, and I mean nobody, is telling you this level of information so that you can understand it. So when you see these type of things being played out, they don't always say it overtly, but this is what's happening behind the scenes. All right. In all seriousness, where's Kamala? Making greens. Coach Mack says it's a war crime to use military against civilians. To protect our borders, that's not American citizens, right? The realtor says, Anton, just to follow up, what's the best approach for a cybersecurity career? Do I need a bachelor's degree, a BS degree, or a certification? No, go get a degree, big dog. Do it the long way. Play it the long way. Tyler Cutler says, what up, though? I appreciate you, Tyler. Dr. Earl says, listening every morning, love your work, keep it, and God bless. Who said that money in business and politics was boring? I disagree. Who said that money, business, and politics is boring? They keep saying, oh, people don't want to learn about money. They don't want to learn about politics. They don't want to learn about finance. I disagree. I have about 4,000 to 6,000 people in here on YouTube alone every single morning that say we want different. We want to know more. Give us us free. But I want to pivot for a second. And the thing that I want to talk about this time is Gavin Newsom. Let me say that again. Gavin Newsom. Now, Gavin Newsom is under fire by his own party. For what? Gavin Newsom is under fire for his own party for disagreeing and going against the social norms. He's going the same way as Eric Adams. And guess what he's under fire for? You would never believe it. For agreeing, and you guys actually put this in my ear because I didn't even realize that he had a podcast. I searched high and low for it. I guess it's exclusively on iHeartMedia. We'll find out more about it. But Gavin Newsom is under fire for agreeing with Republicans, specifically Charlie Kirk from Turning Point USA, that men and women's sports is a bad thing. Who knew? Who knew that we would get to a point to where we would actually see a Democrat admit that they are part of an establishment that's pushing an agenda to keep you stupid, dumb, crazy, and embracing something that's not best for America? This is what's happening over here with Gavin Newsom. Take a look.
Shockwaves through the political sphere. The podcast exchange causing outrage among his own party.
Say no men in female sports.
Well, I think it's an issue of fairness. I completely agree with you on that.
Thanks for joining us here at 6. I'm Tony Lopez.
And I'm Marley Ginter. The governor breaking with Democrats on the debut episode of his new podcast, suggesting they were in the wrong by allowing transgender athletes to participate in female sports. Your reporter Madison Keevy has the breakdown of what he said and the backlash he's getting really from both parties on this one. Right, Madison?
Right, Marley. And we've heard that all day long, people coming out. You know, Governor Newsom has long been a champion for LGBTQ plus civil rights here in the state for decades, going against his own party many years ago to issue marriage licenses for same-sex couples. But as one expert put it to me today, he's now positioning himself as a new type of Democrat.
Would you do something like that? Would you say no men in female sports?
Well, I think it's an issue of fairness. I completely agree with you on that.
The governor on the debut episode of his podcast. This is Gavin Newsom in conversation with conservative political activist Charlie Kirk.
There's also a humility and a grace, that these poor people are more likely to commit suicide, have anxiety and depression. And the way that people talk down to vulnerable communities is an issue that I have a hard time with as well. So both things I can hold in my hand.
The governor's comments getting backlash from some of the state's top Democratic leaders, like State Senator Scott Wiener, part of the LGBTQ caucus.
It was just really sad to me, and it was like a gut punch for the governor to take that position.
So wait a minute. Again, on all of the issues and all of the things that you should stand for, you're telling me that it is a gut punch that Gavin Newsom, who I don't like at all, and I think that he's been the worst governor in the United States of America for some time now. You're telling me that it is bad for Gavin Newsom to say that it is bad for men to participate in women's sports. What twilight zone and what place do we live in? What is wrong with people? How did we get so far left? How do we become so far gone to where we think that it's okay for men to play in women's sports? What is wrong with people? Democrats are going off on Gavin Newsom because he's saying it is wrong for men to play in women's sports and the competitive angle is a bad thing. That's crazy to y'all? This world is getting scary, man. It's getting truly scary.
I hope it's a one-off and that he quickly comes back to his roots, which is to support the LGBTQ community.
Republicans took notice of the comments too. Assemblymember Bill Asaley wrote on X, quote, "Talk is cheap," and called on Newsom to sign legislation to match. Assemblymember Kevin Kiley echoed that call, that if the governor is serious, he should sign an executive order. I took those comments to the governor's office of concerns and questions that have since come out since that podcast was released. The governor's office pointed me back to the entirety of that more than an hour-long podcast episode, saying that he is not going to weaponize this issue or turn those kids into villains.
So again, they are now saying, and let me pivot really quickly because I want to make sure that I do this the right way. They are now going off on Gavin Newsom for saying that it is not right, for men to participate in women's sports. Of the hour-long podcast that he did, this is the stuff that he's standing on.
He's about to win the state championship in the long jump in female sports.
Right.
That shouldn't happen. You as the governor should step out say no.
No, and I appreciate.
But like, would you do something like that? Would you say no men in female sports?
Well, I think it's an issue of fairness. I completely agree with you on that. So that's easy to call out, the unfairness of that.
So Gavin values winning more than anything. He will change to win. The problem that he has not calculated, and he's normally a tactician when it comes to his party. His party has not moved on. He's trying to move on to the general election. If this is the Gavin Newsom that has become moderate now, which I don't believe, it's all for politics, he won't win a Democratic primary, and you don't have to take my word for it. Brian, just look at the reaction from the Democrats.
It's unbelievable. And I will say this is how insincere it is. He hasn't changed one thing.
No.
He's gone to bat for trans men in women's sports and made sure it stood there. So he makes this, by the way, he couched it by saying, I have great compassion. If you don't let them play, they'll commit suicide. But I agree with you, Charlie, which is totally not true. So Lori Lightfoot, I know you forgot about her, but I'll bring her back just for this moment. She says it's disgusting. There are kids waking up today in California with this news thinking that their governor hates them, and rightly so. As Charlie Kirk says, Politico has not one, not two, but 5 reporters covering the fallout of Gavin Newsom's comments.
Listen, if you are worried about how your governor feels about you more than you are about the way that you were raised from your parents, you are already lost. It's over for you. If I'm more concerned about what Gavin Newsom is saying on a podcast than I am about the way that I was raised and the fact that I don't even know who the piss I am because I believe that I'm trapped in a woman's body, but I'm really a man, then you have bigger things to worry about. There are people waking up. This is what they're saying, that there are people waking up thinking that Gavin Newsom hates them. What? Because I don't let you beat up on a little girl in a sport to make you feel better? Because your bone density is different and your shoulders is broader and you got a dang-a-lang slanging in between your legs and you're going to drop kick this chick in her chin? Well, I guess we can throw out the window that it's not okay. Remember when we used to say, oh, man, I would never fight a girl. Well, I guess all of that is gone, huh?
About men and women's sports. But there's even more. Ro Khanna, who many people point to as somebody, a voice of reason on the left.
Democrat from California said this is a moment for Democrats to stand for the dignity of the trans community, the immigrant community, and the most vulnerable. Here are my thoughts.
He should have ended with women suck, right?
All he said was, it's not fair. Because men are stronger and you have a biological man who is playing against a woman. There are so many examples of girls that have been hit by the volleyball that have lost their scholarships because a biological male has taken it from them. So he's not saying he's anti-trans. And a lot of people who are against this because of fairness are not anti-trans. It's just they're saying it's not fair for my little girl to lose her scholarship to someone who is biologically stronger. And so if you read the New York Times, the Ipsos poll back in January found the vast majority of Americans, this is why Gavin Newsom is smart if he wants to win an election. Right. The vast majority of Americans, including most Democrats, do not think that trans athletes should compete in women's sports. They polled 2,128 people. 79% said biological men should not participate in women's sports.
That's the troubling statistic, to be honest with you. The fact that it's only 79% and it's not 100%. 79%. This poll should be 99.9% to 0.01%. and the 0.01 should be the trans community that's feeling some type of way, but we don't really take them into consideration because they should not even have any say on whether or not men can play in women's sports. The poll should say, the troubling part to me is that they saying 70-something% of people agree. I don't care that it's the majority. I'm concerned about the other 21% of people or 22% of people. What is wrong? I'm looking like that means 1 in 4, 1 in 5? 1 in 5 people almost that I'm walking down a street next to, depending on what state that I'm in, agree with this nonsense. So every 5 people that y'all pass, remember that they agree that men should be beating the crap out of women in women's sports and that they should be using y'all bathroom with they schlong inside of the locker room.
Sports. 67% of Democrats agreed with that and 94% of Republicans. The trans girl community makes up a very small percentage of our population.
And before we move on and talk about the most extreme statement ever, Cynthia Slavin, the mom of one of the girls who filed a lawsuit against Riverside, this is all California Unified School District, for this very reason, because there's one her daughter playing against sports. She said when she heard about these comments, goes, what's truly unfair that he has the power to do something about this issue, but doesn't. Talk is cheap. Take action. Do something. By him not taking action or trying to come up with a plan, he's aimed to the division and tension in our state. So of course he's not out of power. He could change in California in a second, but he just wants to get along. Please see through the hair gel.
But the Democrats have a leader right now in the House, and it's Hakeem Jeffries. He didn't know what to make of it. This is his comments.
I want to ask about California Governor Gavin Newsom's comments saying that Democrats were in the wrong for allowing transgender athletes to compete in female and girls sports. What is your response to that after Democrats had opposed the women and girls in sports?
I haven't seen his comments. What Democrats opposed was unleashing sexual predators on girls throughout the United States of America.
What? What does that even?
After Democrats had opposed the women and girls in sports.
I haven't seen.
What was that? Freeze. Are these people Manchurian candidates, honestly?
Had opposed the women and girls in sports.
I haven't seen his comments. What Democrats opposed was unleashing sexual predators on girls throughout the United States of America.
He is absolutely no Barack Obama. Please stop saying that Hakeem Jeffries is trying to be like a Barack Obama. Listen, as much as we don't care for the things that Barack Obama did while he was in office, he did do some good things. I will give him that. I have to be objective. The one thing that Barack Obama was a master orator. He was able to think quickly on his feet, and he was able to coherently communicate a sentence, absolutely masterfully communicate a sentence. And Hakeem Jeffries is no Barack Obama. At all. Honestly, listen, be for real. The one thing that we can't deny from Barack Obama is that he had charisma and he could communicate it effectively, and he had halfway decent sense. What he wound up doing while he was in office is a completely different conversation. But the one thing that you can't say about Obama is that Obama was not on it when it came to his representation and his communication. He was on point 2,000 times over 2,000. This guy is no Barack Obama. He is no Barack Obama. We don't even know what the heck he's talking about. He just talking.
Throughout the United States of America.
What? What does that even mean? I'm not even understanding what he's trying to connect.
He's just trying to pivot. He doesn't want to answer the question.
I mean, it's really not that complicated. Guys can't be with the girls. They can't be I mean, I remember when I was in school and I played basketball, and there were certain rules because of Title IX. And the girls had to get the court some of the days, and the guys got the court some of the. You could not discriminate. And we would say, okay, we got a state championship. It did not matter. Yeah. You had to protect the individuality of the girls and the guys. And the Democrats used to lead on this issue, and now they're taking a back seat.
But you know what he's alluding to? That there's genital inspections to make sure you're the right gender when you compete. Nobody has said that in that act that was passed, the Protect.
Yeah, I just think that the Democratic Party, it's over. He seems like a Manchurian candidate, Maddie, 100%. I think that the Democrat Party is over. So anyways, good show, y'all. It is Friday, so that means that y'all get a couple days off, but you don't get a day off from the night. I know y'all be missing me over the weekend, but guess what? Friday night is after hours. It's going to be lit. Last night was an absolutely awesome show, and we're going to be back at it, all right? AD, what did Obama do that was so good other than communicate effectively? Well, one of the things that Obama did was good was he was tough on borders. Barack Obama was really tough on illegal migrants coming into this country, which is one of the things that Trump was very tough on. Trump carried on the Obama torch when it came to immigration into this country. We started getting the porter-in-chief from Obama. Obama did not believe in illegal migrants coming into this country. He believed in being tough on immigration. And so we can't take that away from him. I'm not going to be so anti-Democrat. I'm against what the Democrat Party represents today. But the Democrat Party of yesteryear was not weak on borders. They were not willing to just let anybody come into this country and say that they are American citizens. Obama was getting them up out of there. And they were saying that he was hard. He was very hard on immigration into this country, that he did not believe in people coming over here illegally. And he was absolutely tough on borders. So if you're asking me, for example, what did Obama do that was so good other than communicate effectively? He did that. He 100% did that. And so I'm not going to let y'all take that away from him just because I disagree with 80 to 85% of the other things that he did. He was 100% tough on borders. And so I'm going to give him that. And I absolutely support what the Democrat Party represented back then. Democrats and Republicans did not disagree on that. Democrats and Republicans did not disagree on that. So I don't know how we can just completely ignore that. I'm objective enough to give credit where credit is due and hold people accountable when they need to be held accountable. So there you go. There you go. Somebody says, what changed? I think that we just became more liberal. Democrats became more liberal, and they became more extreme when they thought that it was popular to do so because they thought that they was creating an entirely new. Their goal was to create an entire new voter class. The alphabet community hijacked the feminism movement. The feminism movement previously had hijacked the civil rights movement. And so that's when they started saying, so for example, when you think about diversity, equity, and inclusion, they use Black people. Black people are the mascots, all right? Let's kick it for a second. Black people, the reason that they use y'all as the 92 and 78% is because you guys are the mascots. You are the faces of the movement. You are the people that sell the shoes. You are the ones that get the endorsement for the shirts. You're the ones that can dunk the basketball. You're the strongest, you're the fastest, and you're the loudest. And so when they want to get an issue passed through, they attach themselves to you. They recruit Black women for feminism. They recruit Black people for diversity, equity, and inclusion. They then changed the civil rights movement and even affirmative action over to be people of color instead of for Black people. Birthright citizenship was made for Black people, specifically descendants of slaves from people that didn't come over here voluntarily, but was sold into slavery through the transatlantic slave trade. That's where birthright citizenship came. They then hijack everything that you do, but they keep you as a face of it because you're great representation, you're great advertisement, and then you still champion for it. You go the hardest for it, and behind the scenes, white women are the ones that benefited from diversity, equity, and inclusion the most. Trans people, LGBTQ, people of color, which they then say Black and brown people, that means anything other than white, which then make the white man the enemy instead of us saying, okay, well, we need to be inclusive. Inclusiveness means everybody should have an opportunity to get it, not discriminate against one person in order for this person, but they keep you as the face of it because they know you're going to go the hardest for it. And you're great advertisement. You can advertise for something. You use a game of telephone. Y'all took this whole boycott situation for Target and stuff like that in the 28th. And John Schwartz, we talked about this on the live stream. He was the person that came up with it. He not even for the Black community. He don't even recognize y'all. He was not even for y'all in the first place. Y'all played a game of telephone. You pushed it through, and you raised hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars for his organization, and he don't have nothing to do with y'all. But y'all the biggest mouthpiece. You advertise for stuff that's best for you. You don't even benefit from the programs that you champion, and you think that you're the ones that benefit from it often at times, and they just using you as a mascot. You're a fool. And this is why we call you a part of the Democratic plantation, because you're doing stuff for free that don't even benefit you. When you vote for a voter block that don't give you anything, and they know they don't have to because they already got your vote sold up, and that's why Kamala Harris offered y'all a reprieve from weed on a federal level instead of actually listening to what you wanted and then winning your vote, and y'all still voted for it at a clip that was unprecedented in the 80% once you combine both black men and black women, and they never had to do nothing for your vote, and you never was going to get it in the first place. It's so dumb. It's so dumb. You think I'm against the black community? No, I'm against your ignorance. I'm against your ignorance. Everything that y'all do is a Me Too movement, and you don't even benefit from it, and that's the sad part. I'm against your ignorance. You can't be this stupid. You can't be this dumb. You can't be this ignorant to your history and not even know the laws that was created for you that other people are benefiting from, yet you still advertise for it. You can't be this dumb. You cannot be the ones that are already at the forefront that has been usurped as the leaders of your household, and you letting women lead you into the mire over the fact that she's a part of a sorority, but she's not even married to a black man. How you so pro-black, but you were advertising for a woman that was married to a man named Dougie, and she had the nerve to be talking to y'all about collard greens inside of her tub. You can't be this dumb. You can't be this easily finessed. No way that you are aligning with a woman that sat there and said, hey, Dougie, but she wouldn't even marry you. She wouldn't even spit on you. She go home and she raised another man's kids that are pure white, don't have a speck of black blood in their body, but want you to be loyal to her based off of race instead of policy. You can't be this dumb. That's more disrespectful than a person that don't look like you just saying, hey, listen, why don't you pay attention to what the policies are so that we can get this thing together and we both benefit. But the fact that they plan in front of your face and using a mascot to win you over makes you the dumbest person in the room, and it's so easy to finesse you. You can't be this slow. No way you this slow. You let them almost finesse you, and we had to drag your black ass to the finish line. We had to drag you here so that we can ultimately fix this stupid country so that your sons and your daughters won't have generational curses of thinking that they deserve a job just because they black and not because they have to meet an expectation of what greatness is supposed to be. So that your son and your daughter don't be having on a strap and he don't believe that he a girl that can compete in girl sports and he got a whole D between his legs. Dragging you to the finish line against God, against your own will, against God. You're welcome. Can't be this stupid. Can't be this ignorant and can't be this dumb. But nope, we here. We here. And at the same, you know what the cherry on top of it is? You know what really makes you sad is they still telling you that you are less than based off of a systematic oppression, and they doing it from people that actually is in Congress that's benefiting from the same system that you say is against you. The ones that control the purse strings. Ash says, Posse Comitatus primarily outlaws military enforcing domestic policies within the USA, not border security or drug interdiction. Department of Defense, Southern Command, USA has civilian border agency. CINC never wants to use the Department of Defense assets unless the threat level is warranted until now. Shout out to you, Ash. I appreciate you. AD, what do you think about Stephen A. Smith in politics? Stop it. Have you seen his interview with Candace Owens? I have not seen any interview with Candace Owens with Stephen A. Smith. Worst governor of all time. I agree. Great political commentary. I appreciate you, Greco-Roman Association, language and history. Arnie Gordon says, I live in California. Newsom signed all the legislation and supported it. Don't believe anything the California Dems say. Charlie mentioned how Democrats are not allowed to have different opinions, and if they do, they're attacked. The response from Democrats regarding Gavin's comments proved Charlie's point. That's true. Mr. Joe says Hakeem is the Dollar General Obama. He ain't even close to being Obama. He ain't even close to being Obama. Ash says, in addition, due to Biden's open border policies, a lot of unknown actors and fentanyl have come across the southern border, which raised a homeland threat level, which triggered a national security threat, activate the Department of Defense. Thank you, Ash. Chat for more says, I'm about 20 minutes behind. Thank you for clarifying the Trump tariffs play for the future in the U.S. economy. Will Vance continue this if elected? I believe so. I think that Vance is next up. Marie says, President Lyndon B. Johnson said, I'll have them N-words voting Democrat for the next 200 years, a known racist. AD, they are this dumb. I got called the C word. Of course you did. Rest in peace, Dwayne Wiggins of Tony. Glad I went to see the reunion in 2023. Is entertainment the identity of Black America? They use us to entertain the masses, and we happily do so. Lost but found. Shout out to you. Ryan Powell says, everything you said, make it a repostable vid. Y'all want me to clip that up? All right, I got y'all. I love y'all. After hours tonight. Let's get it popping. We rocking. Ash, shout out to my dog Ash, says, lastly, we have to understand when it comes to our nation's borders, and the following agencies were always involved. Primarily, the DHS, Department of Homeland Security. Secondarily, DNI, NSA, CIA, FBI, DEA, and ATF assets. The threat is so bad, they call it the Department of Defense for muscle. Thank you, Ash. I appreciate you, bro. Thank you for holding me down. All right, y'all. Again, after hours tonight. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. Go watch the last video I just posted in the Patreon, all right? New video coming this weekend, and Stock Club coming up next week. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I'm going to holler at y'all later. Peace.